What it be, guys? We finally got the Spyderco Lum Titanium review, and just gonna be spitting out these words, trying to make this video shorter. Basically, this Spyderco Lum, it's become one of my favorite EDC folders. It really has seen a lot of pocket time since I've gotten it, just so I can do this review, and it ended up just turning into a knife that I just really wanted to keep in the pocket. So, getting to it, what you guys are going to get the knife in is your fairly newer, not fairly, but a newer Spyderco box. Of course, it has the Lum Chinese, and it's got the TI in there for titanium. You're going to open it up. Of course, it comes with some bubble wrap there. You're going to get a paper, basically just talking about Bob Lum a little bit. Was a knife designer. He did pass away in 2007, and just talks about how he's incorporated a modern design in a traditional Chinese folder, and just talked about a little bit, how he's made quite a few variations of the Chinese Lum. This particular one is exclusive to the company. Let's see here, it's Moteng International, and it's located in Poway, California. So this knife is exclusive to this company only, so it is not in production for Spyderco. So it is only going to be shipped to them, and once they're distributed and they're all out, that's it. I believe it's only a sprint of, I think, 250 or 300 made. So there aren't a lot on the market, and it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be, talking about it on the forums. Basically, the big disappointment was the fact that they used titanium but didn't make it a frame lock. But I'm here to tell you guys that don't let that sway you away from this knife if you do like it, because it is just fantastic. Now, you guys know I don't normally put lanyards on my knives, and it wasn't until I got paracord that I really just started doing it. Basically, I just wanted to test out, making these knots and stuff, and I like them on small blades like the Cricket and my smaller Spydercos. But putting it on here, it just matched kind of well, and I like it, so it stuck. Getting to the knife, we're gonna spit out some specs, like always. In the closed position here, we have 4 1/4 of an inch. This blade open, it's at 3 5/32 of an inch. The blade length, the blade length is 3 5/32 of an inch. The overall length is at a 7 3/16 of an inch, so it's just over 7 inches long. The blade is just over 3 inches. The actual cutting edge is 2 7/8 of an inch, and my all-time favorite feature of the blade is its thickness. Now, as you guys can see here, this is a really wide blade. Now just watch it disappear. This thing is only 1/8 of an inch thick, so this thing is extremely thin, and I love this knife because of that. It is like a virtual lightsaber. This thing just strips through anything I put it through. It literally just glides. At work, honestly, for day-to-day use with my knives, I don't do any kind of heavy use cutting. I am a light to medium knife user, and pretty much the toughest I got to go through is probably double ply cardboard, and this thing makes that like a joke. So this thing is just ridiculously sharp and just cuts like a lightsaber. Now, the weight of this knife is almost an ounce heavier than your regular aluminum scaled liner lock Lum. The regular production Lum is 2.6 ounces. This one is at 3.5, so 0.9 ounces heavier than your aluminum one. But 3.5 ounces is not heavy at all, and especially for a 3-inch blade. So that is not a problem at all, in my opinion. As you can see here, it's a very organic looking knife. That's what Bob Lum is popular for, is that organic traditional Chinese look. So it's got that leaf shaped blade, and as you can see, the handle is very organic looking. What the handle reminds me of is like a pirate's black powder pistol. It's kind of got it tapers from very thin back here to really thin, and then gets thicker and thicker and thicker until it flows into that thick leaf blade and then tapers down to that tip. And as you can see on the blade too, it's got a full blade swedge, starting all the way up at the top here, all the way down to the tip. It's got that really nice looking blade swedge on both sides here. And obviously, as you can see, it is a full flat grind using the VG10 steel, which is a very adequate steel for EDC tasks. Very easy to touch up and holds an edge for a very adequate amount of time. It is made in Seki City, Japan. So anyways, getting back to that organic look, I would say con-wise, this is obviously not the Sage 2. I mean, you look at this handle and you look like it was obviously cut out to fit like a glove, which it does. But this knife, you know, knowing that it is going for that traditional Chinese look, it does feel very good. I can comfortably fit 3 fingers around that back here, and then these 2 fingers, my index and thumb, just kind of choke up the rest of it. So it is comfortable holding it in the back the most for me. I can choke a little bit and it feels okay, but it does feel best when held from the back. Um, really comfortable knife for what it is, and like most Spydercos, like the blade is flat on top there. Like I said, I don't know if they do that on purpose, but it definitely works for me, because as you can see, that swedge doesn't start until just almost after the hole. It's just before the hole. But I mean, when I have my thumb fully extended, it rests right on top of that flat part of the blade. So it just fits very comfortable in this position. It makes it very nice to cut with. And like I said, it shaves. It's like a lightsaber. Um, back to the point that people think that this knife is, the fact that it's not a frame lock, it really doesn't affect performance at all. I've had no problems with the frame lock. It locks up really nice. As you can see, the lock is nice and early, but it is underneath the tang there, so it is solid. There is no blade play whatsoever, right or left, up or down. It is only a single liner, and it is the locking liner, of course. So as you can see on the back here, you can see this side right here has an extra liner metal, and then the opposing side is just the titanium slab, and that bar here is the lock stop. So that reduces some weight, and that may also show that the blade is off center a bit, and that's because of the liner only being on one side, so it kind of has more weight pushing the blade over. Pocket clip is nice. It sits very well in the pocket. It's set up for tip up and tip down only, right side carry. As you can see, it's got a nice, fairly good sized pivot here with a Torx bit. We got 2 Torx screws here on the back, and we have one underneath the pocket clip that I believe holds the liner in place. Fits very well. I did bend the clip out once, but as you can see, it looks good as new, using my Benchmade toolbox to put it back, and also my P4 squirt, and obviously a lanyard hole here with my lanyard on it. Very comfortable blade. Like I said, it just rips through cardboard. I got kind of a thick business card type thing here, and as you can see, this is all the lum right here. I have not sharpened this knife, and I put this through tons of cardboard, double ply, single ply, all kinds of plastics, and it is still cutting. It's a little bit duller than what it was, but like I said, I can literally just sit here and start shaving and peeling all of that. So very great knife, very EDC friendly. Like I said, cons may be if you're not into that organic shaped handle, it's not the most ergonomic. The fact that maybe the blade is pretty wide out of the handle, but once again, it's just going towards the style of this knife. Those would be my only gripes about the knife. It is buttery smooth. I believe it uses Teflon or nylon washers, it's the white ones, but I mean, you can't hear a thing. It is just buttery smooth. It is flickable, and yeah, it's just, it's your Spyderco expectations. I highly recommend this if you can find one. Like I said, it is just a small sprint, and it was only exclusive to that one company. So if you see them floating around and for a good deal, definitely go for it. Also, too, I'll show you. It has a nice C cutout, so you can get to that hole. And the liner on this has some very generous jimping on it, so it's easy to get to. And because that C cutout, it's very easy to get to that liner. You just punch down and move the blade forward, and it just buttery smooth closing and opening. And then of course here we got a backspace here that takes up about 75% of the knife, goes all the way to the end. And yeah, I believe I hit all the spots there. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment below or PM me. I do answer. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I said I was going to try to make this short, ended up being 10 minutes anyways. Hopefully you guys stuck there with me. Alright guys, that is the Spyderco Lum Chinese with the titanium scales. Alright guys, take it easy.